Next Tuesday, the 16th of May, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak will host a food summit with industry leaders at Number 10. The meeting is expected to cover issues around inflation and security of supply in British food and agriculture. What are the challenges being faced by this industry in Britain? How can the government help to encourage businesses to grow following the last years of change? I'm joined now by Jane Milton, who is a leading food industry expert with over 30 years of experience in helping businesses in the UK and overseas to find their USP. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you.
What's going to happen at this summit, do you think?
I think there are a lot of topics to cover, and I think the danger is that it's very broad brush and not very detailed, and it really requires a lot of follow-up after it. There are a number of issues that we need to get more focused on, around supply, around keeping costs within predictable parameters, even so that manufacturers know what they can afford to make and can afford to sell them to other people for. Costs are just changing all the time. There's still a lot of supply chain issues, have been for the last few years. There are big changes in how we shop as consumers, how we work, whether we're in or out of the house. All of that has changed what we need from suppliers.
How much of this has to do with government? Let's start with security of supply.
Yep.
Is there a national security of supply policy?
There isn't, or if there is, it's not performing properly. And things like the Ukraine war may have emphasised some of that, but also when we have issues getting product from Spain because they had climate problems, or now they're saying that there will be issues in the next couple of months on fruit and vegetables coming in from the Netherlands. But here we have issues getting people to work in those industries, having the right people on the ground to be able to work in those. So we don't have good food security in this country, and that is a long-term process. There are a number of growers who tell me that it is cheaper for them to buy in product from overseas at the moment than it is for them to pick and produce in this country, which has to be wrong.
Now, does that matter? I mean, by comparison with fuel, we got pretty worried at the beginning of the Ukraine war. We really wondered whether we were going to have the oil and the gas and everything else that we needed to keep the lights on. But if we have to buy tomatoes from one place rather than another, or if this week there are no tomatoes, does that really matter?
So some of the things that have been affected are bigger and more basic. Obviously, oil, in terms of vegetable oils, all came from that area. And that even led to butter prices going up. Food inflation has been over 15.7%, which is more than it has ever been. And on some individual basic items, eggs, butter, cheese, staple foods that you might have fallen back on to bulk things out, pasta because of flour, all of those things have gone up by more than 20% individually over the last 2 years. So
you said in passing there, I think, that they were more than they'd ever been, but I don't think that's true, is it? Is it not the case that we now spend much less on food as a proportion of our income than we used to, maybe going back 40 or 50 years?
The UK spends less of their income generally on food than many other European countries do. That has been the case for a number of years. But food inflation in the UK, the amount that food prices have gone up by, has been the most that it has done on record.
Got you. The rate of change.
Which has had, obviously, an effect, because people who were feeling the squeeze because other things had gone up may have cut back on food, but the fact that there's nearly 15% been added generally to the price of a shopping basket, particularly with people on the lowest incomes who already were stretched by that, yes. It's become difficult, which is why we've seen so many people going to food banks. Even people who are working in jobs have had to go to food banks to top up.
A lot of things there that are wrong and that are problems. I wonder if we can end maybe on some more cheerful notes. I mean, for example, in this slot from week to week, we've had people coming in with, yes. I don't know, English sparkling wine or yes. British cheeses. and they've said, how well these products are doing and how they've found their niche. Do you see the opportunity for many more British food industries to find their niche?
There is definitely always an opportunity. When there's a problem, there's always an opportunity. And for instance, in Northern Ireland at the moment, there has been a difficulty with supply through national companies, perhaps, who were bringing products in from England. And that has seen opportunities open up for some small producers in Northern Ireland to supply into those instead of them sourcing from England. So there are always opportunities, definitely. And, during COVID, when British cheese suppliers were badly hit because restaurants shut, they then found other people would look for British products. So definitely there is. And I think, we have seen a better understanding from people that they want to support local, they want to be more sustainable, they don't want to bring things in from further away. Mangoes and bananas we may struggle with, though.
No, but this is a big movement in the present day, that people are looking for sort of authentic food that hasn't travelled many miles, and they know about the farm where it was produced and so on. So there must be strong opportunities here, I think.
There are, but I also would say, a lot of people are looking for food led by price at the moment. There is both, and people haven't flipped, to ignoring one and going straight to the other. But there are some people for whom price will be the biggest deciding factor. So we've got to make sure that we have something for everybody. And I think, manufacturers are very resourceful. Small ones will adapt.
And you didn't bring me any food products today. I'm quite often the desk is piled with food at this stage of the programme.
Oh, but sorry about that. Next time.
What you brought was a pile of expertise. Thank you very much.